You thought it was bad before and irrelevant and boring and rubbish. And we thought it couldn't get any more of those things. But West Ham United have proved us all wrong with a 1-1 draw at home to one of the worst teams ever to play in the Premier League in Southampton FC. I'm Will Pugh, joined as always on the We Are West Ham podcast by my pal and big West Ham fan, James Jones. Jonesy, I had the good sense, and I know you said another holiday when you texted me the other day. I had the good sense to go away for the Easter weekend. Unfortunately, a long-standing booking prior to the fact I knew we were going to play Southampton at home. But you dragged yourself along to the London Stadium to watch West Ham go 1-0 up and then throw it all away in the dying moments in yet another drab, dull, boring performance.
Yeah, I dragged myself there, mate. And I, the reason why I did was because I thought, well, there's only 3 home games left this season. I paid my money. I might as well go along. And the weather was nice.
What else am I going to do?
Yeah, and the weather was nice. And I thought, well, it's a good opportunity to sit in the beer garden before and after, enjoy a few beers with the boys, and just have a nice day out in Stratford. He said no.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So yeah, and that's what I did. And if I'm honest, the game was a byproduct of that day, of those intentions. It was kind of like I'm going into London to see some mates in the sun and have a couple of beers. Oh, there's a game going on. I might as well go to that as well. So yeah, and one of my mates who I was with before said, "Oh, do you know what? I'm just going to go for lunch with a couple of other boys who didn't have tickets. I'll see you after." And he was in Stratford and still didn't bother going. I met him after and he was like, "I'm so glad I missed that." And I was like, "I wish I'd come to lunch with you instead."
So literally just went to Westfield. Had he gone to Stratford with the intention of going to the game?
I actually don't know, but a couple of the other boys who were there just because we were there and we were going to meet them after and they were just going to hang around while we were at the game. He just went, "I'm going to go have lunch with them." So fair enough. And he made the right decision. It was, yeah. And I was just like, best decision you've ever made, mate, to be honest.
Yeah. Is he a season ticket holder?
He is, yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't really know where to start. I've got a couple of stats for you, Jonesy. But I feel like we should start with the game before we talk about West Ham's general malaise. We're a little bit pushed for time this morning, doing it Wednesday morning. Just trying to squeeze this one out quickly. We've got our nemesis Brighton away on Saturday. So just quickly, Jonesy, just talk me through it. Jared Bowen, 47 minutes. Ugo Chukwu, 93rd minute, gets the equaliser. I mean, Southampton are pants, aren't they? Nicholas Fulkrug afterwards, absolutely fuming. You know, lambasting the mindset and the mentality of everyone. We've been saying since, I don't know, pretty much September, I think, that season's over. It's played out exactly like that. We're third bottom, but again, as we've covered already, we're in no danger whatsoever of going down. Fair play to Ipswich if they managed to close the 15-point gap on us in 5 games and the 20-goal difference. So still mathematically possible we could go down. But, you know, not going to happen, basically. Tottenham are coming 16th, and the worst season Tottenham have had pretty much in their modern history. We still can't finish above them. Just talk me through the game, though, first of all, before we talk about the bigger picture.
Well, if I'm honest, there's not much to talk through. Like it really was just a nothing game. And we actually missed the goal. We were kind of a bit late coming back to our seats from half time, and we heard
a classic James Jones move. That
because like the first half, like I went there with the expectation of going, well, we should batter this lot. This literally are the worst team, and I don't care whether we've had a rubbish season. Like this is one of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen. We should batter this lot. And so at 0-0 at half time, I'm just a bit like, oh, well, this is just ridiculous. So we're just going to have a couple. Instead of having 1 beer at half time, we're going to have 2, boys.
Quick question, right? Quick question. In a typical season, right, West Ham probably play, say 22 home games, right? This season, it's probably about that with the cup games. 22 home games. Say you attend 20, right? Out of the 20 games on average, home games a season that James Jones attends, how many times out of those 20 is James Jones in his seat when the clock reads 46 minutes? And I don't mean 45 plus stoppage time at the end of the first half. I mean, when it reads 46 minutes, how often are you in your seat?
10%.
Twice a season.
Yeah, twice a season. But
yeah.
we heard the
anytime
roar.
West Ham score 45, 6, 7, 8, James Jones has missed the goal, basically.
Probably, yeah. But we heard the roar, and we were kind of just finishing the beer, and we heard the roar. I say a roar, it was like a hey. So we just thought, oh, we're 1-0 down. Can you believe it? Should we just not bother? And we thought, oh, no, let's go back. And one of my mates was like, oh, do you know, boys, let's just leave. We're 1-0 down. And then we got there and was like, oh no, actually we're 1-0 up. And then I thought, is it that bad here at the moment that not even the home fans have cheered when we've gone 1-0 up at home to Southampton? People just like, oh God, there we go then. Took your time, boys. Yeah. But beyond that, it was one of the most forgettable games I've ever been to, if I'm honest. It just nothing really happened. And then when Southampton equalised in the 93rd, I've never seen such a mass exodus as that. Literally, everyone literally just left, just turned around. And they didn't even, there was no, disgust. It was more apathy. People just left.
Oh, I was just going to say, it was like abject apathy, isn't it?
And I don't remember thinking about it for the rest of the day. It was a bit like, oh, that was a little bit annoying. Anyway, where are the boys? Let's go and make them for a couple more drinks after. It's just like it didn't really cross my mind until the following morning when I thought about it and was like, oh yeah, we didn't win yesterday. That was a bit annoying. It's just apathy now.
And I find it just so sad. I really find it sad that this is where we've got to. I'm not doing this to be facetious. Last week, and credit to you, Jonesy, to be fair, because you've taken on the mantle as the positive voice of the We Are West Ham podcast this season. Basically a bit of a switcheroo from last year, right? People sit in either camp. I was the positive one last year, almost to your annoyance lots of the time, and you were sort of the negative of the two of us. Those we've swapped places this season, and even under Lopetegui, to be fair, you were sort of pinning your flag to that mast a little while longer than most, but even you sort of gave up after a while. I still find it sort of staggeringly sad that this is where we've got to, because it's a massive fall from grace as well, to be sitting 17th with 5 games to go in the season, given that at the beginning of the season we were talking about how disappointing I was thinking it was going to be when we finished 12th or 14th. Like, it had apathy written all over it. But what West Ham in the last 12 months, right? This is the stats. Allowed David Moyes to leave after the top 9 finish. Ignore that. Just we're not getting into that again. Sacked Julian Lopetegui 6 months into a 2-year contract. Appoint Graham Potter, who wins 3 of his first 13 Premier League games. No wins since the 27th of February. It's now the 23rd of April. That's nearly 2 full months there. And the comment under it was, but some West Ham fans will spend all day trying to convince you that it's never had it so good, or something like that. Bit of a facetious post, but the stats don't lie. You last week, to your credit, were sort of saying there's some positive signs of recovery. Are obviously hard to sort of lunge from one way of thinking to the other just after 1 week. What's your general thoughts and feelings, bigger picture wise, at this stage and where we're at?
Well, my views on the bigger picture haven't changed, mate. I think it's very difficult to put a lot of pressure or blame onto Graham Potter, given the fact
shambles he inherited.
You look at it and go, he's inherited 2 teams that were on the decline.
Yeah,
2 teams. You had Moyes' team, which was on the decline by the time he left, and then you had Lopetegui's team.
Lopetegui made sure of it.
Yeah, so he's literally this isn't. He hasn't inherited just Lopetegui's mess. He's also inherited David Moyes' mess as well.
Yeah.
And that mess isn't just a tactical thing, or it's 100% a mentality thing. And the best thing that came out of Saturday was Fulkrug coming out and calling all of his mates out and going, "This is ridiculous."
The bloke who's played about 4 times.
Yeah, and when you've got a player that's been out injured for 80% of the season, coming out and having a part, you know something isn't right mentally in that dressing room.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to start. I'm seeing articles already. West Ham have decided they're not. I think I mentioned it last week. They decided they're not going to sack Graham Potter, and just like we shouldn't be having that conversation. Like what he's inherited. Like you can't put any blame on him. I've seen a few people go, yeah, I know, but like it's still really bad football if you can't improve this bunch of players. But the problems clearly run deeper than him just coming in, putting in some tactics, giving it a few weeks for them to get used to it, and then suddenly we're winning football matches again, and it's all hunky dory, and we're the most informed team in the Premier League. Like
difficult doing it in the middle of a season, isn't it?
Exactly. There's a lot more to it than that. And if it was that easy, then we'd all be Premier League football managers. Like there's a lot more to it. And that's why I'm kind of just going, look, the season's done. We might not win another game between now and the end of the season. And I've made my peace for that. And that's just it. And if their last win was Leicester at the end of February, then, so be it. It makes no difference to me now.
So bleak, isn't it? So bleak.
Yeah, it does. But like, it makes no difference to me now whether we finish 17th or 16th or 15th. And if all we've got to play for now is whether we finish above Tottenham or not, like, I'm not interested in that, if I'm honest.
I am a bit.
If you finish above Tottenham we're finishing 6th and they're finishing 8th, then it's like, yeah, that was brilliant. But if we're finishing above Tottenham and it means that we finish 16th and they finish 17th, I'm not interested. That's not a win for me. Like it's funny to an extent.
That's a slightly less bad loss, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a win. So in my head, I'm just going, right, the season's done for me. I'll go to the last couple of home games and, is what it is. But then next year,
one of which is Tottenham.
Yeah. But beyond that, like I'm not expecting things to. I'm expecting probably a slight change, given you'd like to think that the players would have taken notice of Fulkrug's comments. But beyond that, I'm just waiting to see what happens in the summer. There's going to be a lot of squad churn. I think there's going to be a lot of players going in and out. And then I'll reserve my overall judgment on the man in charge until next season, and that's it. And I'm just like waiting.
It's another one of those, isn't it? Yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate. I'm not even joking. Can't wait for the season to end since September. Just like this is, and you sort of end up having to endure it, don't you? It's probably the same. I think it's really hard to put it all on Potter for like next season, because I think ultimately we haven't got any saleable assets, have we? Really? Like KUDUS, no one's going to buy him. Paqueta, TBC, with everything going on. No one. If we sell Bowen, we might as well give up as a club.
I think KUDUS will go, and I think there will be a buyer. We're just learning that he's
got to be Saudi, though, isn't it?
If it is Saudi, it's a touch, because his release clause to Saudi is 120 million. Apparently, it's a tiered release clause.
But if you're Saudi and you get on the phone and go, look, we're not paying that for him, but we'll give you 60.
Even if you go, well, no, okay, well, if you're not willing to meet the 120 for a Saudi club, then at least make the one for the Premier League club, which is 80 or 85 or whatever it is. And, so I think we'll sell him, and we'll sell him at a decent profit, and it'll be happy days.
And we will be no worse off.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, it shows how far he's fallen. When I'm like, I couldn't care less if we sold him now. I genuinely couldn't care less. If he can't get himself up for a game against Southampton at home, then good riddance, mate. If I'm honest. So yeah, and then Paqueta obviously depends on his court case and the outcome of that. But I think if that comes out positive for him, then I think he goes. So there's well over £100 million there in assets that we can bring back into the reinvest into the squad. The trouble is, in this day and age, £100 million doesn't get you very much. No. We probably need about 500 million quid, and even that's probably not going to be enough. So it's going to take more than one summer. Admittedly.
But the thing is, right? What we're talking about is we're talking about taking losses on Paqueta and KUDUS, aren't we?
Yeah, probably not, because he only costs like 38 million, so we should make a profit on him.
Yeah,
it was 38 million, and Paqueta was 50s. So even if we break even on him, I'd be very surprised if we do.
But what I'm saying is, but for PSR reasons and all that, it's not like oh, that's a touch. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you may just like wash your face, but
let's have it right. I mean, West Ham are even rubbish at selling players for like years. We buy
Yeah,
players
until we
and sell them
tucked
at a loss
Arsenal
for
up for
fun.
Declan Rice.
Yeah,
Made him believe that he was going to win him the league and took 105 million. Thanks very
we're
much.
like the best team. We're the best team in the world at selling players at a loss. Like Felipe Anderson is still the one that really, really annoys me. Was he 50 million quid?
He was pantso.
3 years later, we sell him for
40 odd,
2.5 million quid to Lazio. It's like, what are you doing? Like he's
He
better
was
than
pantso.
yeah, but he's better than £2.5 million.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
and then I think the only good sale we've made, which it still baffles me that we got the moment. We got 18 million quid for Finn Downs. That blows my mind.
And
how did we
what's
do
the other
that?
one? Dean Garner. That was a good one. We get 20 odd million from West Brom for him.
Yeah, but those two aside, rubbish at selling players. So that's a problem. Hopefully that changes. But yeah, it's going to take more than one summer, isn't it? Really, I think we need to accept that. But you still, at the same time, you'd still hope to see, once a little bit of business has been done this summer, get rid of some out of form players, perhaps maybe a few bad eggs in there. We don't know, and then go again. Yeah, then go again, and you'd like to think after one summer, you'd like to think there'd be some improvement. And then we go again, and it's not going to happen overnight. I think it's going to be a few years, which is sad, but it is what it is.
So bleak. It's so bleak. It's really bleak that we find ourselves in this position, I think. And do you know what it feels like? You remember after the last season at Upton Park, you were just like, right, what a platform we have got now. Right, we've best send off ever to that old ground. We've got one of the best players in Europe, Dimitri Payet. Like, we're going into this big new stadium. It's an exciting new chapter for the club. What a platform this is.
Europe.
And it was just exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was in Malta at the weekend, and I went past a town called Berkara. I think we played them.
Yeah, we played them in a qualifier.
Yeah, surprised we got past them. But I was so bleak. Anyway, James, we're going to have to wrap this up. Apologies to everyone. That's a bit of a short podcast this week. We're sort of struggling professionally with the bank holiday and stuff to find the time and squeeze it in. But yeah, fortunately, not a lot to cover, quite frankly. Brighton at home this weekend in the Premier League. Bleak stuff, just counting down the days to the end of the summer. Get stuck in on all of our socials at _West Ham on Twitter. We are West Ham Pod on Instagram. Just search We Are West Ham Podcast on your favourite platforms, really, including YouTube. And let us know what you think and how things have gone in the comments. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch up with you later this week with an opposition view ahead of that Brighton game, and we'll speak to you next week.